Okay, so time for the main event on SmackDown, Solo versus Uso. And again, you mentioned it, you liked the promo better than the match. There wasn't anything wrong with this. It was again Solo and one of the Usos fighting. We've seen it a number of times. The story is where we're going rather than the match here. Solo's bigger and stronger. So strong he uses a head palm shoot off on a grown adult man that wants to fight him back and kill him. But just put his hand on his head and whoo, off he goes. So they went to the break in about 3 minutes, and then they came back. And he got heat on Jey, Solo did, just dominated him, and then finally missed the ass in the face, and Jey made a comeback. Have you noticed all of the Samoan family are using the slap punches, and they're getting careless about it? To where it's just now, it's kind of see-through.
I've noticed it before, but now that you say it, I guess I haven't realized how prevalent it is.
Because The Rock got away with it. So everybody thinks that they're The Rock now, but they ain't The Rock. And they're opening their hand too quick, and you can see it on the high-def, slow-mo DVRs we have now. We didn't have in 1999 when The Rock was working. And somebody needs to learn how to throw a punch with a closed fist, because it's embarrassing. But having said that, a couple false finishes, then Solo took over, called for the spike. Jey ducked it. They traded super kicks. Jey speared him, splashed him off the top, and beat him 1, 2, 3. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, I guess that put a period on that. But no, because Solo got right back up and attacked Jey, and they went to the floor, and Jey got a chair and just wore Solo out with it. And that put the period on it. And he's ready for Roman at SummerSlam tomorrow, as they did this today, as we're talking about this, and tomorrow when we'll be talking about it, when we finished watching this today. Does that make any sense?
Who knows if it makes any sense. Should Roman Reigns have been on this episode, the SmackDown before SummerSlam?
Well, what would he have done? What was there to do that hasn't already been done?
One last
Traditionally,
promo.
all the main event guys on a pay-per-view were on the show, because traditionally all the main event guys on a pay-per-view usually were full-time guys and at least made television. But, unless they had something for him to do, I think the match is made and the match is there. We just got to figure out what they're going to do in the match. What do you think they'll do in the match?
I don't know. I don't know. I think Cody has to win. I think for this match, Roman, I can't imagine Roman losing. So that means Jey probably has to get screwed over somehow, because I don't know if you just want to have him beat clean after all this, because that's going to kill him cold.
Right.
Or traditionally it would.
There needs to be a lot of bells and whistles, smoke and mirrors, interference, cheating, conniving, something.
I mean, we're all assuming
they can't just beat Jey.
See, the problem is we're all assuming, and you want to assume it's a safe assumption, but who knows, that he's going to be the champion through Mania. Like, it'll have to happen at least there, or at some point past another record, or whatever it may be. I don't know if Jey Uso's the guy to get it, but I guess that's what it comes down to. After Jey Uso, you say, what do you think will happen? My mind goes to, what do I think will happen after that? Like, where do I think they're going to go? Who are they going to introduce into this, if anyone? Because I feel like it has to. I mean, the circle of people in the universe of the Bloodline is getting smaller.
Yeah.
Something has to happen. I don't know what it'll be.
Oh, cousin Jacob. All right. Anyway, we will find out by the end of this podcast, because by then we'll know. Because all we do is record podcasts and watch wrestling. And sometimes we stop doing one to do the other. And that's what we're going to do now. Well, Brian, as SmackDown is over with, it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. And that's, time for all good boys and girls to be tucked into their beds. And that's where I went shortly after the program was over with. And thankfully, I got a wonderful night's sleep because of our friends at Helix Sleep and the mattresses that they provide. And as a matter of fact, there can be a big wrestling and mattress tie-in also, because think about this, folks, if you're an aspiring wrestler and you want to jump off the roof, you want to jump off your garage, you want to jump off a barn, you want to jump off a shed, you want to jump off anything, what better place for your collection of bones in whatever shape they're going to be in and whether they're going to be intact or not, after you come off that thing, what better mattress to fall into than a Helix Sleep mattress, custom made right here in the good old US of A. Brian, can you imagine if only Mick Foley had dove off the roof of his house onto a Helix Sleep mattress, he would have got to the WWF years before he did.
You know, maybe if Mick Foley had gone to sleep every night on a Helix mattress in his room, he would have had a good night's sleep, and instead of dreaming of Jimmy Snuka, he would have dreamt of an accountant or a lawyer and gone down that road.
No, he would have dreamt of a famous author, because he's already a best-selling author, and he did it by hand. Certainly, if he'd have started earlier, he could have got more practice. It could be Stephen King and Mick Foley. You never know.
Well, he's not a great novelist. He's a great author writing about his own time in wrestling. If he didn't have that time in wrestling because he didn't have time on a Helix Sleep mattress, then maybe he would have had no adventures. He would have had a boring life in Suffolk County. No books, no author.
No. Au contraire, mon frere. Because he's written children's stories. He's written witty compositions on Twitter. He's written
what?
Letters. I mean, he's a man of many talents. And I hesitate to think how great he could have become if he'd have been sleeping on a Helix mattress instead of in the backseat of his car going to wrestling school. But nevertheless, folks, you cannot make that same mistake. You can't. You can't do it. You've got to get a good night's sleep so that you can achieve your full potential. And no matter who you are, how big, how small, how fat, how skinny, how old, how young, how hot, how cold, Helix Sleep has a mattress for you, including the Helix Elite Collection. They got the 6 different mattress models. Every one of those comes with a 15-year manufacturer's warranty and the same 100-night trial as the rest of Helix mattresses, which are composed of, for the young ones, for the little kids, for the little whippersnappers, they got one of those. They got one for the portly people. They got something if you want to sleep on your back, on your side, on your face down in a pool of your own vomit. However, if you want to sleep
not
like
that.
A rock star.
Not like that. That's not recommended for breathing, let alone sleeping on a Helix Sleep mattress.
A lot of people dream of being able to sleep like a rock star.
Not like a dead rock star.
That's how most rock stars sleep. But folks, besides that, I mentioned the good old US of A because Helix supports military first responders, sometimes even second responders if it's a big enough deal. Teachers and students, you get a special discount. And they own their own manufacturing facility. And we have talked about this before. Each Helix mattress is made by a team of skilled manufacturers. As a matter of fact, 3 of them are brothers, and the other guy's a close friend of theirs. He may be a cousin.
It's bigger than a team of 4, and we're not guaranteeing there's any sort of family involved in this.
They're very skilled. And once they took over that manufacturing, yes, the workers are. And once they took over that manufacturing facility, as a matter of fact, it used to be a little coffee-making place. But every time that somebody tasted the coffee, they said, shit, that tastes like mud. And the people said, well, it was ground this morning. But now it's making mattresses. And you should never have to compromise on comfort, folks. Helix has mattresses that regulate your body temperature. Just you tell them what body temperature you want, and they'll send you a mattress to keep at that specific temperature. Now,
that's not the way it works.
I'd advise everybody stay above 88 degrees.
Yeah, that's not the way it works, but the way it works is it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
If your body temperature varies, because it helps regulate your body temperature, if your temperature's up and down, it'll stick you in the middle somewhere.
Well, everyone's had that uncomfortable moment in the middle of the night where for no good reason, like the bed is hot or something. You don't want that. Everyone wants the pillow to be cool. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you wake up in a pool of sweat like 4 or 5 times a night.
You do?
Of course you do. Doesn't everybody?
I do not. You do?
Screaming and throwing things
4 or 5 times a night.
Yeah. But that's why I had to take all the breakable stuff and put it far enough away I couldn't reach it from the bed.
Well, luckily now you have a Helix Sleep mattress. You don't have to worry about any of these problems. Now it's a good night's sleep every night with Helix Sleep.
Well, no, that is a good night's sleep for me. I still do that. Before I got the Helix, I was up all night. Anyway, and again, folks, there's nothing worse than going to a mattress store and laying down on one of those sampler mattresses that you know that hundreds of people have been in there. You don't know whether it's some guy with crotch rot or
Lice.
some woman lice. You know, some woman could have not bothered to do her bodily hygiene for 5 or 6 years and sits on that thing and farts on it, whatever. Little Johnny dumb fuck has just come from rolling in a mud hole, and now he's going to plop down on it. And you know, they probably, when you buy one from those stores, they probably send the tester out to somebody after a while when they change models. They just wrap it in cellophane and said that. None of that with Helix, folks. Anyway, all you got to do is go to helixsleep.com and you take a little quiz, and you tell them how you like to sleep and what position, head up, head down, wherever the case, and whether or not your body temperature goes from glacial ice flow to burning inferno. And then they will suggest the mattresses that are best for you, and then boom, you get it, or you buy it on the site, and when you get it, in just a short period of time after that, it's in a nice little box. You can put it where you want it. You can open it up and watch it come to life. Bring the kids in, have them roast some marshmallows, and watch this thing. It's an amazing process. And if you go to helixsleep.com, that's HELIX, sleep.com/JCE, they're offering 20% off all the mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. So once you got the mattress, you barely even need the pillow. But if you got to have something to shove under your head or between your legs or under your hips or whichever position you want to get in, you're going to have 2 free pillows as well. helixsleep.com/JCE.